welcome to the chat on Newsday Amarillo and News Channel 10-2. I'm David Lovejoy.
Good morning, everybody. I'm Rhonda Lawnert.
And I'm Chuckalicious Chuck Williams.
All right. Hope everybody had a great weekend and kicking off this Monday with a great start. The one advantage we have here is our great partner at News Channel 10 and Gray Media. They have stations all across the country, and they get to sit down and talk to some really exciting people. And today, we've got a very special interview. We've had these people on before. I think it's this very gentleman from Duck Dynasty. We talked about that show and what it meant. It was a cultural phenomenon, about these hunting guys that really talked about a philosophy of life. Well, they've got a new movie out, and our Brad Alexander with the station out of Arizona sat down and got to talk about this new movie. So we'll talk about that now, right here on the chat. A little bit about the new Duck Dynasty movie, Blind.
A guy who might have some experience around bees out in the
beautiful state of Louisiana.
Louisiana is you talked to one of the members of the Duck Dynasty.
I am sure at one point of our lives in the last 10 to 15 years, you have heard of the Duck Dynasty.
Yes.
They took over the world. Either you've seen it in merch, you've seen it in hunting gear. This is the Robertson family who they went out and really hunted ducks. That's why, hence, Duck Dynasty. But the show took us on a ride to really get to know the family beyond hunting.
Okay.
And now the son is back and really telling the story of Phil Robertson, which is he sits at the helm of the family.
Okay.
And now you have the son, and they're releasing this movie called The Blind, and it's giving that inside look of what that life was like for Phil Robertson.
Just about anything you set your mind to, Phil Robertson. But it's the drink. He becomes the devil's side.
She's talking about Phil Robertson, a guy you may know from the show Duck Dynasty. His true life fall from grace and the journey to his faith is shown in the movie The Blind. It's showing now on the Faith and Family app called Great American Pure Flicks. And joining us this morning is Duck Dynasty star and Phil's son, Mr. Willie Robertson. Thank you so much for joining me.
How's it going?
It's going well, sir. I have to ask, when you guys are thinking about a title of a movie, that sets the tone for that movie. What's the backstory for naming it The Blind?
Well, it's kind of, there was a couple of meanings on that. One, we spend a lot of time in a duck blind, and so that made sense. And then we felt like Phil was really blinded spiritually, so those two things came together, and that's when we came with the name The Blind.
This is such a detailed story. What are just some of the things you want viewers to take away from this film?
I think the main thing is that there's always hope. I think, especially even nowadays, in these times of, there can be hopelessness can set in on people, and they just feel like they've gotten themselves in too much of a mess, whether it's in a relationship or work or job or finances or wherever it is. And so we tend to lose hope. And the main message is that you just never know, what your life can look like and where it can turn around. And they kept their family together, which was very important to us as kids. And if it would have just helped that, it would have been worth it. But who would have known that, this little tiny business in Louisiana would end up having a television show. And that was when Mom and Dad were like 65 years old, like a whole new lease on life, coming down the road. And so, yeah, it's just all those things came about, but it almost sadly never even got off the ground and happened. So, so there can be hope. You can turn around, you can change, and you never know what you can do with that.
Mr. Willie, there's a very powerful quote. I'm going to just quote a little bit from your dad. He said, "You've got to come to the end of yourself to find the beginning of God." For that quote, that's a powerful quote. Where in your life would you say you got to the end of yourself and allowed God to take over?
Well, probably a lot faster than Phil did, because I wasn't being chased by police officers and kicking my family out of the house. And I think that's what, we don't have to go down all those same roads, that people get themselves into. We can learn from that. And so I was able to learn from that. But we were actually taught that, at a young age, to where it's not about us. It's not about our life. It's about, our faith in God and our relationships we have with others. And pulling those, loving one another and forgiving one another and all those ideas.
And what did your parents think of this film?
I think they were proud of it to have a movie. My dad he kept saying he was embarrassed by it, and he watched it once, and we had set up something else to watch it, and he said, I've seen it once, that's enough. I think it was tough for him just to watch himself being like that. He just felt so bad, and I think he felt sad for, how he treated mom and us as kids, and really embarrassing. But again, it was a greater purpose to show that and show what God can do and pull what he pulled him out of.
Your entire family is definitely known from a huge show, Duck Dynasty. How have you been since the show's ended? How have you been overall?
Good. It was, that was taxing. I actually write about, my book's called Gospeller, and I share in there a little of my story. And I definitely felt the weight. I felt that weight of all the pressure, and you get fame thrown at you, and it's tough. I get it. I get, you definitely got a little wobbly there, but really caught fire again. It was like, okay, this is, it can be very distracting, and just from your purpose and all that, and things can suffer. So, but that's no, my story's no different than most people. Most people, we have these times, where we struggle, but through that time, but God was good, and we, so proud of the TV show, proud of the movie that we've been able to put out, and hopefully that speaks to our lives and what we're all about, and again, just the appreciation of our faith, because without it, we would not have stayed together, and so that's why we continue to keep talking about it, because we just feel like we owe it to that, because everything we've gotten has been really based on that.
Mr. Willie, thank you so much. I love the transparency, and I believe that when you're transparent, you help so many other people, and you guys are doing that with this film, The Blind. Thank you so much, Mr. Willie.
Thank you.
Again, make sure you guys check out this film. It is showing now on the Faith and Family app called Great American Pure Flicks.